Courtney Gears was a pop sensation throughout the Solana galaxy, well, galaxies for that matter. Her merchandise was everywhere, posters for example, when Quark was daydreaming about her in prison. There's mentions of her handing out prizes at the Annihilation Nation. She was well known, especially for her looks. At least that's what we know according to what Ratchet tells Clank when they first stumble upon the video of Miss Courtney Gears.
Courtney who?
Come on, remember that bombshell handing out prizes on Annihilation Nation?
Ah, yes. Her specifications were remarkable.
Yeah, well, she's not the hottest pop star in the galaxy because of her singing.
From what we know in Up Your Arsenal, which by the way is the game she made her first and only debut in, physically, she did recordings over on Obani Draco, the third Obani moon to be exact. Courtney Gears, with her kind-hearted, sweet-looking persona, had her own tricks up her sleeves. We eventually found out that she had ties to Dr. Nefarious, as an aid to his plan for turning organic life forms into robots. How did she exactly participate in this? Her song, Robots of the Galaxy, was propaganda used to push forward Nefarious's plan for robotic domination, that robots must be free. Most of the galaxy was unaware of this hidden dark secret of hers, but according to a now archived page, Courtney Gears apparently had started getting allegations, which in return already damaged her career, reaching a low point. Miss Gears' career hit an apparent low point last year after spurious allegations that she was conspiring with Dr. Nefarious to destroy all organic life in the galaxy. This was said by Juanita in Deadlocked. We then realized that her career started picking up again after the events of Up Your Arsenal. Just how that happened exactly? Well, stay tuned in this video to find out. First, let's dive a bit deeper into her story in Up Your Arsenal. The first time our duo meets Miss Courtney Gears was at the Annihilation Nation. For their victory, she hands out a prize, the Terra guys. The very first impression of her, well, it was left to question. Was she truly the sweet, innocent, kind-hearted singer everyone fell in love with? I mean, looking at her expression here, she looks like someone who can easily deceive anyone. Eventually, they discover a computer which was used to edit Courtney Gears' new video, Robots of the Galaxy. In that video, Ratchet and Clank believe she has ties to Nefarious. I mean, if your music video has Nefarious plastered all over your monitors in the background, I mean, who wouldn't be suspicious, right? No wonder there were allegations of her in the future. Afterwards, our duo on planet Dax stumble upon a report on the Biobliterator. At this moment, they weren't aware what it's for, but Clank was aware that the Biobliterator left for the Obani Moons. With that on their minds, Clank believed she'd have information on Dr. Nefarious. Eventually, our duo wins Quark's third vid comic, and who hands out the prize again? Courtney Gears. This time we see a new side of her, not so much of the innocent, kind-hearted nature she portrayed before. The way she just looks at Ratchet here, complete disinterest. She only seems to care about Clank, the popular robot in the galaxy, thanks to his holovid series, Secret Agent Clank. Courtney Gears wanted to take part in one of his episodes. Now, there's one thing about Courtney Gears that perhaps you didn't really understand when you were younger. All the innuendos surrounding this character. This scene, for example. This is something that flew over our heads when we were younger.
I've got a few secrets of my own that might need your special investigation.
Yes,
So a deal is made between the two. Have Courtney Gears take part in Secret Agent Clank's episode, and in return, reveal information on Dr. Nefarious. Later we find out that Courtney Gears would play the role of the Baroness in Secret Agent Clank in episode Maximilian Strikes Back. After their recording was complete, Courtney Gears has this complete shift in her personality. The one where we saw at Annihilation Nation with Ratchet. It appears she was using this false persona as a way to get to Clank's head. The whole plan was to bring Clank to Nefarious, and here, Courtney Gears appears to have flirtatious behavior towards Dr. Nefarious. And Nefarious doesn't really seem to care. He's more annoyed by the fact that Courtney Gears calls him Snooky Woogums. Then again, it's possible these two had a fling. Quark did try to taunt Nefarious at some point in Up Your Arsenal, claiming to have been involved in an intimate relationship with Courtney Gears, saying that Courtney Gears didn't seem to mind his weight gain.
Captain Quark, you've put on a bit of weight since last we met.
Yeah? Well, Courtney Gears didn't seem to mind.
Quark apparently also fantasized about Miss Gears in his vid comic, The Shaming of the Q. The whole point of this was to try and persuade Clank into joining Nefarious. You know, instead of always working side by side with Ratchet, who Nefarious deemed a squishy. Clank doesn't comply. He's held prisoner in return, and Clank takes his place. Later on, Ratchet receives a call from Skid McMarx, who was left in charge in disabling the Omega disintegration field at the Ubani moons. Initially, our duo had trouble doing so, and had received a distress call by the Galactic Rangers, so our duo had to leave Skid McMarx to his task. So yeah, with that, Skid meets Courtney Gears in a space limo. Has no idea that she works with Nefarious. She kidnaps him and uses him as a test for the Biobliterator, which now resides at her studio on Ubani Draco. Skid sadly turns into a robot. I mean, this scene as a kid is another example of a hidden innuendo. I mean, just look at the way Skid covers his,
Whoa! Like I never knew you were this kinky, Miss Gears.
Don't you ever shut up.
And eventually, Ratchet faces off against Courtney Gears. It's a memorable part of the game, I have to say. There's a memorable line. Well, actually two. Let's see if you can fight better than you can sing. I always remember this line when I think of Courtney Gears. And the not-so-subtle reference to Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. And the sounds of weapons upgrades during this boss fight? It's something very, very nostalgic, hearing that nanotech upgrading? There's something about it. And then yeah, after we face her off, she's left there, broken. That's basically how her story ends in Up Your Arsenal. Now we move on to her background before Deadlocked. According to an archived page of Ratchet Deadlocked, which goes over, more of her story before Deadlocked. After allegations of her conspiring with Dr. Nefarious, her status hit a low point. So much, in fact, apparently Skid McMarx took on the not-so-similar role. It was bad enough that she was left in a smoldering pile of scrap, but then her record label had the nerve to dump her and replace her with Skid McMarx. Oh, the horror. Sure, Skid's latest album of spoken word poetry is profoundly moving, but it just doesn't appeal to the all-important teenage robot demographic. This was according to Dallas Wanamaker. Dallas and Juanita, by the way, were the hosts at Dread Zone in Deadlocked. Dallas was also a fan of hers, dancing to Robots of the Galaxy at 3 a.m. while his mom would yell from upstairs to keep quiet. The way Courtney's story was reported by Entertainment News, it stated that Gears was simply minding her own business at her Biobliterator testing facility. And then it is explained that two fans cowardly and brutally assaulted her. This is kind of like a cover-up story to, I guess, keep her suspicious behavior at bay. Twist the story around to keep her reputation safe. Around this time, Miss Gears was also working on a new album called Oops, I Got Vaporized by a Level 7 Shock Blaster. Now you might be wondering, how did she even recover after her ordeal with Ratchet? Well, there's the founder of Dread Zone to thank for that, Mr. Gleeman Vox. Mr. Vox personally oversaw the careful reconstruction and rehabilitation of Miss Gears by his own team of specialist robotic surgeons. In exchange, Mr. Vox has merely asked that Courtney Gears sign over all past and future rights to her music, her image, her name, her likeness, and her personal collection of Secret Agent Clank memorabilia. Quite a deal if you ask me. Not only that, Gears was lucky enough to star in Dread Zone's Exterminator Reactor's Rise of the Sociopath Bloodlust. Reactor, before he was named Reactor, was known as Dull Bookworm. He was a math teacher who eventually met Miss Gears, who around that time was doing market research for her new album. These two got into a relationship thanks to equal love of cafeteria food. This was stated in the Prima official guide of Deadlocked. However, with time, well, 1 month to be precise, Gears just got bored of their relationship. Due to that, Bookworm believed he had to implant a live nuclear explosive into his chest. That's how dull Bookworm turned into Reactor afterwards. After some time, Gears decided to make her cinematic debut with Reactor. What this tells us, Gears is very materialistic, kinda like a gold digger. But we do know that she never refuses popular, rich lifestyles. So now, with that background story out of the way, we now actually enter Deadlocked. In this actual sequel to Up Your Arsenal, even if Courtney's career reached a low point, her song Robots of the Galaxy was still popular. So popular, in fact, we see Big Al right at the start of the game dancing to her song Robots of the Galaxy. We also notice merchandise in this game entailing that teenage girls still love Courtney Gears. We have a segment of Vox News where it is mentioned that Courtney Gears made a full recovery following a near-death experience by 2 psychotic fans. In Deadlocked, we get to see a promotional video documenting her life with Reactor, how she rejected him at first until he brought money and fame on the table. Basically, the actual game Deadlocked simply gives us a shortened version of her story we have on that archived page of entertainment news. So with Deadlocked out of the way, we move on to post-Deadlocked. Later in the series, we have posters in Size Matters. Secret Agent Clank. Her music video Robots of the Galaxy is seen on one of the monitors when we visit the Iris supercomputer in Tools of Destruction. In A Crack in Time, Planet Vipedia, it's referenced by Cassiopeia that Courtney Gears was more of a subordinate to Nefarious in his past relationship with her.
Unacceptable! You should be a smoldering, squishy carcass by now. Don't you treat me like one of your subordinates. I'm not Courtney Gears. Let, change the channel, will ya? This is why office romances never work out.
There's even a poster spotted in the comic series of Ratchet Clank, which, by the way, the events of the comic book take place after A Crack in Time. Despite Miss Gears' controversial past, questionable persona, manipulative and sadistic nature, Miss Gears was able to maintain her image throughout different galaxies. With Rift Apart dealing with the multiverse, who knows, we might see an alternate version of her.
For hardcore fans, we have a lot of nods. You're gonna see a lot of returning characters and planets, and see them all through a whole new light of multiple dimensionality.
Don't get your hopes up, but I'm just saying, you know. Was she a singer as well? Is she the same Gears we know in our dimension? Did she even survive the explosion in Dreadzone, assuming she was on board Dreadzone? So yeah, with that being said, this pretty much is the story of Miss Courtney Gears. With that said, if you have any questions, theories, or anything of such sort, leave it in the comments section below. And as always, I've been Vivi, and thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time.
Till we dominate, won't you feel great?